Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to discuss about the most frequently asked question to me on LinkedIn, that is how many subcategories are there in VLSA front-end category, and what are the jobs that you can pursue in VLSA front-end categories. Like in today's video I am going to discuss what are the roles that you can encounter in your VLSA as a front-end engineer. So you all know that basically there are many subfields within VLSI. Okay, I have already made a roadmap on what are the different fields within the VLSI. Okay, I link that in the description box. You can go there and check it out in order to know what are the subdomains within VLSI. And within these subdomains also you are having many job roles within each subdomain, right? So in today's video we are going to discuss as a VLSA front-end engineer what are the kinds of jobs that you can encounter, right? So basically you all know that VLSI is primarily categorized into two parts, which is front end and back end engineer, right? So as a front end VLSI engineer, what are the various roles that you can pursue? Like in any front end VLSI engineer, you may, when you are entering into front end of VLSI, like when you are into design and verification, basically you will encounter any of these job roles. Okay, because so that is why uh, if you are an RTL or design verification engineer, it is not mandatory that if you are an RTL engineer, you will be doing only the job of the RTL design engineer. Okay, you can be either an SOC engineer or RTL integration engineer. So these three categories come under one thing, like RTL design engineer, IPR SOC engineer, RTL integration engineer. Like basically they are seen as a subcategories, but mostly the work that is done by all these engineers is related to RTL designing itself. Coming to verification, again in verification also you are having lots of subcategories like IP verification engineer, formal verification engineer, and again power aware verification, safety verification, and SOC verification engineer. So in this way, when you are entering into verification, then that means you can be in any of these jobs. Okay, it is not in your wish to join which of these. Like basically you, if you are a fresher, you will be put into any of these categories as a verification engineer, right? So before entering into this RTL design or verification engineer, you need to know what does this exact role persons do in that particular domain. Okay, so which is what I am going to discuss today in this video. And before going to today's video, if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing my channel and hit on the notification bell also, so that as soon as I'll upload the video you'll get the notification. Also do follow me on LinkedIn and also my Telegram channel in order to get regular updates on VLSI job and internship opportunities that I encounter in my LinkedIn profiles, right? So coming to the categories within the VLSA, so the first one is RTL design engineer. Basically the engineer in this role mostly deals with HTL coding. Okay, designing the code. How will we design the code? Basically we'll be using HTLs like Verilog or VHDL and SV basically. So by using this codes we will be designing the code which is synthesizable. Okay, we'll be writing the RTL design engineer will be writing the synthesizable code by using this HDLs. Okay, and they will also deal with some subcategories like CDS analysis, safety modules, power and area estimation. So all these things basically, this is the work that the RTL design engineer will do, right? And then coming to IP or SOC engineer, so as I told you, RTL designing, IP engineer, and RTL integration engineer, mostly everything will be coming under one category only. Okay, all these engineers does the same job. What does the RTL engineer do? You will be writing the code. So basically the IP or SOC engineer work is also the same as RTL designing itself. Okay, why is it? Because whether it is a design or something, you can't write the entire code by you itself, is it or not? Okay, every single person will be writing the modules. Okay, some basic modules, and all these modules will be integrated. Okay, so this IP engineer or SOC engineer basically does the same thing as RTL design engineer, just the designation is different, that's it. So they will be checking the functionality of the IP code. Basically, whether the IP code, design engineer, what does he write? He will be writing the code, right? The RTL engine, the IP engineer also will be writing the Verilog by using this HDLs like Verilog and VHDL only. They will be writing the IP code, and every SOC is nothing but a combination of this group of IPs. So SOC is nothing but system on chip. Okay, so system on chip is nothing but the integration of these all IPs. So this SOC engineer basically integrates all these IPs code, like every single IP. For example, if you are having five IPs within your SOC, so all these five IPs are integrated by the SOC engineer, right? So basically the RTL integration engineer, so he is the person basically who will be checking all this integration related to different blocks, interconnection of signals, porting of modules, whether everything is done in correct way or not. It is done by the verification engineer, IP verification engineer. So theoretically, when you are speaking, like when I am telling you, there are actually three designations like RTL design engineer, IP or SOC engineer, and RTL integration engineer. But when you enter into the real time field, basically, as I told you, all these three people will be dealing with the RTL code. Okay, so that is the basic idea. Every one of these three categories will be defining, will be writing the code related to the design by using the HDL like Verilog HDL or VHDL. Got idea? So this is the thing that the RTL design engineer or IPR SOC engineer or RTL integration engineer. So if you are an RTL design, so you can be in either RTL designer or you can be an SOC engineer or you can be in the integration part where you will be integration all these IPs, or you will be checking whether the connection of ports or the porting of modules or everything is done in correct way or not. So you can be in any of these three categories, right? So this is the thing for RTL design engineer. Now coming to verification side, so basically when you are design or verification engineer, you can be either RTL designing team or in the verification team. So what does the verification team, like what are the categories within the verification team? So the first one is IP verification engineer. So what does this IP verification engineer will do? Basically, there are various jobs done by this IP verification engineer. So the first thing is basically this engineer creates like UVM or OVM based verification environments. Okay, for IPs they will be creating the verification environments, or after creating the environments they will be creating the verification or assertion plans or test plans. So there are various things that this verification engineer do, like either creating the test plans or writing the assertions, nothing but writing assertion plans or writing test cases. Okay, so basically when you have seen the if you have seen the test cases, if you have seen the example that I have developed on system verilog adder program like code, I have already explained it. If you want that, I link that in the description box. There I have created a test bench in SV using an adder. Simple example, by taking example of adder, I have created a test bench for system verilog in my channel. So I'll link that in the description box. You can go there and check it out. So there I have told you what are test cases and what are test plans basically. So similarly, this verification engineer will also writing some test cases in SV or in UVM also. So basically, what are these test cases? Why are these used? Means they are used in order to check the features of the design. Like you can write various cases of test cases. Like there will be direct test cases, random test cases, corner test cases. So these all test cases will be written by this verification engineer itself. Okay, so basically the verification engineer is responsible for creating the verification environment by using either UVM or OVM based. Okay, and they are responsible for creating assertion plans or test plans. They need to write the test cases, as I told you, like various test cases like direct test cases, random test cases, corner. In the same way, you are having many more test cases, and They are responsible for developing the coverage closures, okay, regression management, debugging the test cases, CDC verification. So this is all done by the verification engineer, right? So this is what the IP verification engineer does. As I told you, for example, if your SOC is having four IPs, so all the four IPs will be having four kinds of test verification engineers, okay, where every verification engineer is different because every IP is different from one another. So based on your IP considerations, the IP verification engineer will be writing these test cases and developing the verification environment, right? So this is the work of the verification engineer, IP verification engineer. Now coming to formal verification engineer, what does this formal verification engineer do? So basically, they will be checking any models or RTL equivalence checks or algorithmic or arithmetic verifications. If there are any connectivity checks, okay. So basically, everything related to this will be done by the formal verification engineer, like connectivity checks or verification of blocks or model checkings or arithmetic or algorithmic verification. So all this is done by the formal verification engineer. Now coming to power aware verification engineer. So basically, as the name itself suggests, so this engineer is responsible for entire power thing like power domain, level shifters, voltage domains, power gating, power estimation. So all this works will be done by the power aware verification engineer. Now coming to safety verification engineer. So basically, as the name itself suggests, they will be mostly having the role related to verification of safety mechanisms. Like they will be calculating any fault metrics, or they will be calculating any fault injections in simulations, or if there is any faults in emulations. So all these things will be done by the safety verification engineer. Right now, coming to the last one, which is SOC verification engineer. So just like SOC design engineer, what does the SOC design engineer do? He will be integrating all the IPs and he will be checking whether the integration, whether which input should be. So basically, if you are having some four IPs, if IP1 needs to be connected to IP3 and IP3 needs to be connected to IP2. So all these connections and all will be checked by this SOC engineer, right? Now, what does the SOC verification engineer do? So SOC verification engineer will be checking all the integrating, whether the integration that is done in this verification, because in verification also you will be having these IPs, right? You'll also verifying the IP verification engineering. Similarly, if you are having four IPs, so obviously four IP verification engineers will be there. So whether the integration of all the IPs is done correctly, connectivity checks, and if there are any test cases that are still not checked, so booting the sequences and data paths, whether the verification is done on the, whether the data path is in a correct way or not, and whether the processor is done correct, whether the working of the processor is being done or not. So all this verification. So basically, SOC verification engineer will be checking verifying the processes, data paths, booting the sequences, and he will be verifying the test cases and if there are any connectivity checks. So all these issues will be done by this SOC verification engineer. Right? So these are the works that is done by the design as well as verification engineer. And if you are entering as a fresher, you can be any of these, all the any one of these roles. Okay, and if you are a fresher, you will be already given a training for that. So don't worry that if you don't understand about every anything of this. But if you are a design, if you are studying the courses like Verilog, System Verilog, and UVM, you can be part of any of this in the RTL design and verification domain. So that is all for today. Thank you all.